What if I told you there was once a city so rich, so beautiful, and so powerful that people believed it could never fall? A city where the streets shined with precious metals, where enormous temples touched the sky, where ships filled with gold arrived from every corner of the ancient world. Some called it a paradise. Others called it the greatest civilization ever created.
But then, in a single day, it disappeared. No warning, no survivors, no empire left behind, only silence. And for more than 2,000 years, one question has refused to die. Did Atlantis really exist? Or was it nothing more than the greatest story ever told? Today, we are opening one of history's most mysterious vaults. This is the story of Atlantis. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine standing beside the endless blue ocean nearly 12,000 years ago. The morning sun rises slowly above the horizon. The sea is calm. Birds fly across the sky. In the distance, a magnificent city appears. Its walls sparkle under the sunlight. Huge towers rise above beautiful gardens. Ships arrive every hour carrying spices, silver, jewels, and treasures from distant lands. The people are wealthy. The markets are alive. Music fills the streets. Children laugh as fountains pour crystal clear water into marble pools. Everything looks perfect. Too perfect. Because sometimes, the greatest danger hides behind the greatest success. Our story begins with a man who lived more than 2,000 years ago. His name was Plato, one of the greatest philosophers in human history.
Around 360 BC, Plato wrote about an extraordinary island kingdom unlike anything the world had ever seen. He called it Atlantis. According to Plato, Atlantis was located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the place we now know as the Strait of Gibraltar. Beyond that narrow gateway, there was a massive island, larger than many kingdoms combined, an island blessed with fertile land, beautiful rivers, rich forests, and mountains filled with valuable minerals. Nature had given Atlantis everything. But nature was only the beginning. Its people built something even greater. At the center of Atlantis stood an incredible capital city, unlike any city before or after it. The city was built in perfect circles. Ring after ring surrounded the royal palace. Water canals connected every part of the kingdom. Massive bridges crossed the water. Ships could sail directly into the heart of the city. Imagine standing on one of those bridges, looking down at hundreds of colorful ships, merchants shouting, blacksmiths forging weapons, artists creating magnificent statues, engineers building wonders that amazed every visitor. Everything was organized. Everything had a purpose. Atlantis wasn't just beautiful, it was brilliant. According to the legend, the kingdom was protected by the mighty god Poseidon, the ruler of the sea. It is said that Poseidon fell in love with a mortal woman named Cleito. To protect her, he surrounded her home with rings of water and land. Later, their children became the first rulers of Atlantis. Generation after generation, the kingdom grew stronger. Its navy became the most powerful on Earth. Its armies conquered distant lands. Its wealth became unimaginable. Gold, silver, ivory, rare stones, exotic animals. Everything the ancient world desired could be found in Atlantis. People believed the city would last forever. But history teaches us something important. Nothing lasts forever. As the years passed, the people of Atlantis slowly changed. They were no longer satisfied. Wealth created pride. Power created greed. The rulers wanted more land, more gold, more control. The wisdom that had built Atlantis began to disappear. The temples were still standing. The palaces were still shining. But something invisible had started to break. Their hearts. Plato wrote that the gods watched carefully. They saw a civilization that had forgotten humility, a kingdom that believed it was greater than nature itself. And then, one terrible day, the earth began to shake. But was this really how Atlantis disappeared? Or is there another story, waiting beneath the ocean? For centuries, people believed Plato's story was nothing more than a myth, a beautiful tale, a warning about pride and power. But then, something unexpected happened. Archaeologists, historians, and scientists started asking a different question. What if Plato wasn't inventing a story? What if he was describing something real? Over the last 200 years, explorers have searched almost every corner of the Earth. Some looked deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Others searched near Greece, Spain, Turkey, even Antarctica. Every time an ancient structure was discovered beneath the sea, the same question returned. Could this be Atlantis? One discovery after another made headlines. Submerged walls, stone roads, ancient ruins hidden below the water. For a brief moment, the world held its breath. But every time, the evidence was incomplete. The mystery survived. One of the strongest theories takes us to a small Greek island, Santorini. More than 3,600 years ago, a gigantic volcano exploded there. It was one of the most powerful eruptions in human history. The explosion was so violent that it shattered the island. Ash filled the sky. The sea rose into enormous waves. Entire towns disappeared beneath water and volcanic rock. Some scientists believe people who survived this disaster carried the story with them. Generation after generation, the story changed. It became larger, more dramatic, until one day it reached Plato. Could the destruction of Santorini have inspired the legend of Atlantis? Perhaps, but nobody knows for certain. Another theory is even more fascinating. Some researchers believe Atlantis may have existed long before recorded history. At the end of the last ice age, sea levels around the world rose dramatically. Coastlines disappeared. Entire settlements may have been swallowed by the ocean. If an advanced coastal civilization had existed thousands of years earlier, almost every trace of it could now lie beneath hundreds of feet of water, hidden, silent, waiting. Modern technology has given us powerful new tools. Satellites scan the Earth from space. Robots explore the deepest parts of the ocean. Sonar maps the seafloor in incredible detail. Yet, despite all our technology, nobody has found Atlantis. Not a palace, not a royal temple, not a single piece of undeniable evidence. The greatest mystery remains locked away. So, did Atlantis really exist? The honest answer is, we simply don't know. Maybe Plato created the greatest fictional story ever written. Or maybe he preserved the memory of a civilization that vanished long before history was written. Sometimes, legends are born from imagination, but sometimes legends begin with a single truth that time almost erased forever. Perhaps the real treasure of Atlantis is not the city itself. It is the question, the curiosity, the endless search for answers. Every generation continues looking. Every new discovery brings fresh hope. And maybe, one day, someone will uncover the evidence that changes history forever. Until that day, Atlantis remains exactly what it has always been, the world's greatest unsolved historical mystery. Next time you stand beside the ocean, listen carefully. Watch the waves. Look toward the endless horizon. Because somewhere beneath those waters, there may still be secrets waiting to be discovered. Secrets that have slept for thousands of years. And perhaps the greatest story in human history is still waiting to be told. Thank you for exploring history with the History Vault. If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe for more incredible stories from the past, because every civilization, every empire, and every forgotten legend has a story waiting inside the History Vault.